Alright, today we'll be dealing with the Firelink Shrine, the first area after the tutorial. So let's start with this guy.
Well, what do we have here? You must be a new arrival. Let me guess, fate of the undead, right? Well, you're not the first, but there's no salvation here. You'd have done better to rot in the Undead Asylum. But too late now. Well, since you're here, let me help you out. There are, actually, 2 bells of awakening. One's up above in the Undead Church. The other is far, far below, in the ruins at the base of Blight Town. Ring them both, and something happened. Brilliant, right? Not much to go on, but I have a feeling that won't stop you. So, off you go. It is why you came, isn't it? To this accursed land of the undead? Ah, your face. You're practically hollow. But who knows? Going hollow could solve quite a bit. What? Restoring your humanity? Well, there are a few ways to go about it. Collect it bit by bit from corpses. Or you can butter up a cleric and get yourself summoned. And the quickest way, although I'd never do it, is to kill a healthy undead and pillage its humanity. Coveting thy neighbor is only human, after all. What are you looking at? Don't try anything clever. You might regret it. What? You want to hear more? Oh, that's all we need. Another inquisitive soul. Well, listen carefully then. One of the bells is up above in the Undead Church, but the lift is broken. You'll have to climb the stairs up the ruins and access the Undead Burg through the waterway. The other bell is back down below the Undead Burg, within the plague-infested Blight Town. But I'd die again before I step foot in that cesspool. Bloody hell, what is it now? You ask too many questions.
Okay, and after this he'll just repeat himself, but lots of information there and some helpful advice for the early game. Down here this NPC will not talk to you, at least not in her current state. Right now I can't do anything with her, so I'm just going to leave. And now let's get to looting. There's a lot of items scattered around this place. So quite obviously on this well there's a corpse with 3 humanities. You should definitely grab these, they are very handy items. And then down this corridor, right at the end, you can find 6 firebombs. They have limited uses. They do 180 base fire damage. It can be nice against some enemies, but the damage is not great late game. And yeah, we're right on the verge of meeting the next NPC.
Hello there. I believe we are not acquainted. I am Petrus of Firelink. Have you business with us? If not, I'd prefer to keep a distance, if possible. Hello there. I realize that I have requested that we retain our distance, but I also want you to know that it is not meant in ill will. Here, take this, as a token of peace. No, go ahead. It's for you. Oh my, you again. Oh, I know. How about this? I have to await my companions here anyway. So what if I were to teach you some miracles? Would that please you? Very well. Then first, a covenant with the gods. Now let me share my miracles. Only their ultimate effectiveness will be determined by your efforts and your faith.
He will ask you to join the Way of White, but since as a cleric that's already my covenant, I can just get his miracles without it. The one thing I'm going to buy right now is Seek Guidance, just because it's kind of fun and I'll show you some stuff about it. Otherwise you get some early game miracles here and some talismans. The one you start out with is pretty much better than these two though.
My companions are Milady and her young knights. She is young, but burdened by an undead mission. We are her defenses, to keep her from harm. An undead mission? Regrettably, I cannot share that with you. But you are my pupil. Perhaps if you show your faith. Very well. I can surely tell you, of all people, undead clerics are given a mission to seek kindling. Kindling is the art of feeding bonfires with humanity. Through kindling, we shall one day be granted magnificent powers. Very well. I can
And that's all he has to say for now.
Come again. The effectiveness of the teachings depend upon your faith.
Now I'm just going to quickly level up my attunement once so I can actually use that miracle I bought. Nothing much of interest happening here. And now we can get back to looting. The information about the undead mission, the price goes up as your soul level goes up. So if you want to hear that dialogue, best to buy it early, because he will ask for more and more. There's another Soul of a Lost Undead up there. You've already gotten one from the tutorial. And then there's a bit of a treasure cove down this elevator shaft. The elevator itself, as the Crestfallen... I don't know, Crestfallen Warrior has told us, is broken. But you can jump down and grab some items. The cracked eye orbs are mostly an online item allowing you to invade other players' worlds. And in here we have a talisman and a morning star. Then some homeward bones, these are also quite handy. And the final chest has 4 Lloyd talismans. And once you've gotten these, you can drop down here into the graveyard. These skeletons, as you will see, are very tough enemies for this point of the game. I barely do any damage. So I would suggest just running away. Oh, by the way, since we're just passing it, that crow is completely immortal. You cannot kill it, just in case anyone's wondering. And here, there's another Soul of a Lost Undead hidden away. And I'm just going to quickly rest at the bonfire to reset the skeletons so I can grab the final item in peace. The Souls of a Lost Undead give 200 souls. So if you need souls for something, you can consume these to gain some. Alternatively, you can save them up, because later there's a way to get 500 souls from them. But we'll get to that at a later point. So this is the final item in Firelink proper. Another Soul of a Lost Undead. So that's already quite a nice starting budget. But now let's explore the way you're supposed to go. Since this is still the same area, I'm going to include it in this video. So there's some fairly weak hollow soldiers guarding this area. Even with your starting equipment, these will be quite easy to deal with. There's one on top throwing fire bombs, so be aware of that. And then this guy with the axe. You will need to find your own strategies on how to deal with them. This is how I like to do it, but it is definitely not the only, probably not even the best way to do it. Okay, since this is supposed to be a full area walkthrough, I'm obviously going to grab all the items, including the ones that are usually not really that relevant, but you will see it all. So on this corpse here we have another Soul of a Lost Undead. They're the lowest kind of souls, the ones that give you the least amount, so early game they will be the most common ones you find. And then after this easy jump you can grab a Ring of Sacrifice, which I would suggest saving up. It basically allows you to ignore one death. Meaning you will still die, but you won't lose your souls, which you would usually do on death. So save it up for when you really don't want to die. And you have a lot of souls saved up. And another Soul of Lost Undead. And then, just to complete this particular section, there's a rat in here. It's a little tougher and it can poison, but it's still not difficult to handle. And guarding another soul. And then, if you hurry along further through this corridor, you'll enter Undead Burg, so I'm not going to show you this tonight. Instead, we will be heading to the graveyard. And just as I was passing it, this chest here, if you're doing everything right, it will never actually contain an item. The chest is where the game puts key items that you've somehow managed to lose. So items that are required to beat the game. If you somehow lose them, they'll be in that chest. Okay, so going through the graveyard, there's a large Soul of a Lost Undead. These are worth 400. Here we have a nice weapon, the Winged Spear. All of the starting classes will need to level up a bit to use it. Same with the Zweihänder. But they are very powerful weapons. Especially the Zweihänder. So it can be worth spending your early points on those stats to be able to use those weapons. And I really did not think I was going to make it here. As you see, there's a lot of skeletons. And as I've shown you earlier, without leveling up a bit, I'm just not equipped to deal with these. So here I'm grabbing another large soul, and now I'm just going to leg it to the bonfire to reset the enemies. I did not want to push my luck any further. There's one more item I've missed, but I'm going to grab that in just a second. And this way I won't have all the skeletons following me, but only the ones that I've actually triggered so far. And that's the Caduceus Round Shield, which is not great, to be honest. And yeah, that's it. That's all in the graveyard. And there's one more section that is not technically Firelink, but it's still worth looting early because you can get there without fighting any enemies, and there's some nice stuff to be had. So I've already shown you this in the starting class guide, but down this elevator you can find the first merchant who sells magic. His prices are pretty high, so you probably don't want to buy from him if magic isn't a priority for you. You will later on be able to get these spells cheaper, but if you want them as fast as possible, this NPC is going to be where you want to go. First though, there's an S-stock right here. It is a piercing weapon. It's not particularly great, but might be better than your starting weapon if you are so inclined. And then here we have the NPC.
Well, this is unusual. You haven't lost your head. And more importantly, you're free. How on earth? Well, I shouldn't pry. I'm Ricky of Vinheim. I was once an established smith, though. Look at me now. Can you believe it? What is it? Have you? Oh no. Don't worry. I've no intention of escape. It's safe here. I can't bear the thought of going hollow out there. Although, I must admit, I've not much to occupy myself. How about this? I could forge your weapons, albeit with rather minimal tools. I'll show you what made me the best in Vinheim.
So yeah, as I've shown in the other video, you can buy Soul Arrow and Heavy Soul Arrow here, but you will be able to get these for cheaper.
Come back soon. Smithing helps soothe my nerves. Don't let me wither away out of idleness.
But of course, if you're playing a mage like I am, having those extra casts early on can be really nice. Okay, this door will open with a master key, which I have on this character, but since that's definitely another area, I will not be showing it to you today. Instead, there's one more item I forgot to grab, so I'll just go there quickly now. And then there's a bit of a suicide run. So if you break this pot, the corpse drops out and you can get some transient curses. These allow you to fight ghosts, but you probably don't want to do that at this point, because you're far too weak, you have not leveled up at all. Instead, I switch my quick menu to the Homeward Bones, which will send me back to the last bonfire I've rested at, and I will just run through the very beginning section of this area. The ghosts are not something I can deal with, they will kill me. But at the end of this narrow bridge, there's an item that's very much worth it, and then run into the corner and use the Homeward Bone. You usually survive it, maybe not, but again, it's basically worth it. Because that item was a Firekeeper soul. And now that we have it, we can go down to this mute NPC, which has not been helpful for us previously. But with the Firekeeper soul, we can reinforce the Estus Flask, making it a +1 Estus Flask. And yeah, that's all the stuff you can do at Firelink right now. Next we'll be heading into Undead Burg and seeing what the game proper has to offer us. I hope you found this helpful. And bye bye.